Hello, fire signs, and welcome to The Mystery. I am Matt, and I am a psychic medium, I'm an eclectic witch, and I am an explorer and a seeker into everything magical and mystical. And I am so wonderfully obliged today to present you with your forecast for fire signs for the week of May 23rd through the 28th of 2022. Now, this forecast will serve as a look into next week, the week of May 23 to through the 28th, for fire signs, and this is not a timeless reading. So what that means is when I say May 23rd to the 28th of 2022, that's exactly what I'm reading for. I am very much, in the way I read, focused on what is going on directly in the moment. And I think those actionable steps on what we can do right now can serve us best sometimes. Okay. Before I get these all set up, I'd like to encourage you to like and subscribe, and to get the word out there, because I love doing what I do and I'd love to do more of it. I anticipate if I get more of it done, then I could get better audio quality, I could get better video quality, and eventually even take my mediumship on the road. I've got a GoFundMe out there for that right now, to sort of be able to travel more and actually do this full time. Because currently, right now, the way things are looking for the fall, I may not be able to keep all of this up if I cannot afford to do so. So if whatever people may want to give or share would be lovely. Okay. This is my charm set that I have had curated by Miss Annalise Gallagher with Geldemont Studios jewelry making and Tarot Talk Cafe. She's a good friend of mine, and she had a bunch of charms, so we sat down and picked out charms that correspond with the Lenormand deck, the French card divination system. Okay, let's get on to your forecast for let's get on to your forecast for the week of the 23rd through the 28th. Fire signs for the week of May 23rd through the 28th. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. First of all, what I see directly pointing out at me is the passport charm right here, which is the ship card in the Lenormand, and right underneath it is the clover, which has everything to do with abundance. And there can be a lot of abundance in travel, and the stork's right next to it. So travel, new beginnings involving our spirituality and involving unlocking our situation, and very much in that feminine energy, that connective energy. A lot of the unlocking, a lot of the potential, a lot of the new situations, the new insight, the new mindsets can come in very what's almost like childlike sensuality, intimacy, that sort of childlike feeling. So that is going to be a major focus right here in what's going to ground us in the next week. Some travel, some abundance towards new travel, and occult knowledge, and unlocking our occult knowledge and our occults and our spirituality in a very passionate way through that travel. The crossroads is underneath that, and it's upside down, so I don't see very many erratic decisions being made around that as of right now. Now, the closest charm to our anchor. Our anchor is our grounding. Our anchor is our pulling into the physical, our stability, our things that keep us solid, our roots. Around that anchor is messages, the letter, and any news that's coming through, and any news that puts us in a situation that feels good. Any news that brings us closer to our wish fulfillment, and everything that lights us up inside. Now, I'm going to go directly towards this significator, which is my arrow, and it tends to point to things that are extra, extra important in readings. And it's pointing right between our heart and our sun. So we're going to have to especially delineate the fire signs. I'm not a fire sign, but I'm talking in the perspective of a fire sign. As fire signs, you're going to have to delineate the difference between what feels good in your heart and what feels good in a sense of bringing you the material joy. Committing to joy and not being confused about it. Committing to your joy and not being confused about it, and sometimes even being sneaky with those thoughts that may be intrusive. Any of those things that weigh you down and bring you down out of that commitment to joy can bring you confusion. So we have to sort of be sneaky about getting rid of those thoughts and not really entertaining them as much. And another way that we could sort of get to our heart and our passions and the things that light us up is through our own vitality and our own roots. So think about what you tend to do best. That through line of what is your passion, what lights you on fire, what carries you through, that will bring you closer and closer to your manifestation of the heart, your passions. And again, the fish, so water, emotions, and balancing all those emotions will sort of create this triangulation, this grouping all together of that plus your vitality and your roots plus your passions will lead you towards cutting out the things that do not serve you anymore this next week. Now next we're going to go on towards the home or the house charm. It's my Arc de Triomphe charm. And right next to it has our bouquet, which is social situations, and the child card or the child charm. And that has everything to do here with evading those invasive thoughts in a way of, bringing the energy of childlike wonder, that comfort that brings you, like the feeling of home, more the feeling of home, into those social situations and getting vulnerable with the people that you love. That's really going to be the thing that's going to distract you from any invasive thoughts that keep you away from your commitments and the feelings of joy. Now, right on the outside of that, splitting your commitments and your joy and your warm feelings, the sort of cunning energies that get away from those invasive thoughts is right here with the fox upside down. And you have the commitments on one side, but then you also have the mental chatter that does not need to acknowledge all of those festering moments, the disease, the diseased energy, the toxic situations. It just needs to cut it all out, and the man charm is right next to it. So taking and forcefully working through that in a more of a masculine energy kind of way. So that is the bottom half. Next, we have our writer right next to our coffin. And here, what I'm seeing is maybe some bigger messages that sort of can turn your world a little bit upside down, but in a good way for the better, because it's right up above our sense of home and sense of comfort and sense of childlike wonder that brings us towards bigger changes. This is like the death card in tarot. This is the bringing us all the way into endings to new beginnings. So there may be some bigger messages about endings and new beginnings that sort of make us feel comfortable, but it's news that may turn us upside down for a little bit in our view. Right outside of that, and just below that, is our oppressive energies. So I feel like that may be something that's on the back burner in the back of your head, that, oh, this news towards a new beginning. You might have some of those feelings of oppressive energies, but that's tends to be our own anxieties, our own fears, and whatnot, which is shown right here by it not being terribly close, but it being close enough to where we can acknowledge it every now and again. Now, when it comes to, let's see, our boundaries, are the boundaries that hold us back. They're far away from our intuition right now. So our intuition is tending to be very strong right now, and it's tending to be separate from our boundaries. It's at the same level as our boundaries, but we're able to compartmentalize our intuition and our actual boundaries, to where we can keep them separate. Our boundaries that sort of turn us upside down a little bit tend to be in our, let's see, what's this? Yeah, that's the dog. Tend to be a lack of loyalty towards our own hopes and dreams and the things that light us on fire. It's not like that we don't want them. We want them, but sometimes it may be hard to keep them fully in our view and keep ourselves fully confident and invested at all times mentally. And that's where the need to internalize sometimes happens, and it's blowing right past our forceful manifestations. Sometimes we need to internalize things, and we need to bring them more to a social or a psychological or a Gnostic standpoint. But it blows right past our ability to manifest exactly how we need to. So coming up this next week, we're going to have to determine what things that we need to internalize and work through on the inside, and what things we need to bring towards our actual manifestations and brute force for ourselves. Okay, so that was just a little bit of an overview of our forecast for the week of May 23rd through the 28th of 2022. Again, I'd like to mention that if you found this helpful, you can consider liking, subscribing, and down below I will post links to my website, which you can hit me up for personal readings. I do right now half an hour and an hour, and those can be a variety of modalities. Tarot, Lenormand, charm casting, Reiki, and whatever may be suited to you. So yeah, it can be a mix of several different things, as long as it stays within the time frame of that half an hour or an hour. And you can check the website for rates on that. Also below, I will be posting my GoFundMe link, and that is for acquiring a Romani-style gypsy Vardo. I'm wanting to take my mediumship on the road, travel more, see different parts of the country, but also get out of a really oppressive area when it comes to like being authentic. Where I'm at right now is not exactly kind, and like seeing a mundane job in the fall when my current income sort of fades away is not exactly as much of an option, and I'd like to be able to fully support myself. And what getting that gypsy Vardo would do is essentially allow me to be able to get a storage unit and a PO box and take my home on the road, mitigate a ton of bills, and be able to have less bills so I can cover student loans, and still make some money to sustain my livelihood through only my mediumship. And that is a dream, and that will be a reality. I have no doubt that it won't be a reality. And then also to further eventually step on more planes and network with colleagues and mentors. One of my biggest mentors being Patty Negri, the medium from Ghost Adventures, known for her recurring role on there. and get to see more of those people and connect one-on-one in one-on-one sessions, live seances, investigations, what have you. I'll also post below my link to my Buy Me a Coffee, which includes tiered membership levels, kind of like Patreon, which they have things that correspond with them, some various charm casting, tarot, oracle, Lenormand stuff, where you can get different levels per month. And what's good about Buy Me a Coffee, unlike Patreon, is it has one-time donation as well of a certain number of coffees, which you can donate to me, and that's just the price of a coffee, and that will also feed into the Vardo fund to get me on the road as well. Like, again, if you liked what you saw, then consider subscribing, consider liking, and share this out so more people can get to it. My channel does not allow monetization until it gets to 1,000 subscribers, which I have full faith that we can definitely get to that. Many, many good things coming up. Many, many good things. Once again, thank you for viewing this forecast for the week of May 23rd to the 28th. And I will see you next week, lovely fire signs.